What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video we've got another crazy submission as part of the Hidden Gem content creator series, but this time from Nerds Rising, who I've featured on the channel plenty of times in recent weeks, but he's always delivering when it comes to Spice, and today is no exception. He's running 3 Pokemon that were buffed this season, with Liquidation Vaporeon in the lead, Shadow Golbat with the newly improved Poison Fang as the save swap, and Fairy Wind Togetic as the closer. With that being said, let's get into the question of the day. Which Pokemon do you think benefits the most from the Poison Fang damage buff this season? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Vaporeon into Azumarill. Now, we've only got Water type, fast moves, and charge moves, so we're instantly going to swap into our Shadow Golbat. The opponent's staying in this matchup. We go for the Poison Fang, getting an early shield from the Azu before they eventually swap into a Sableye. We're now going to go for the Shadow Ball here, no baiting, and Shadow Ball lands. It does so much damage that we will now be able to flip switch advantage. So we're going to shield up the Shadow Sneak. For some reason the opponent is running Shadow Sneak there instead of Foul Play. Doesn't really matter, we shield it up. We also shield a Hydro Pump, so the opponent probably running Play Rough and Hydro Pump, no Ice Beam, meaning they will take absolutely ages to get to another charge move. So we're actually going to bank a Poison Fang, swap back into the Vaporeon here, and they go for the Play Rough there, and we should just be able to fully Water Gun, farm them down, and we're able to. And they've got a Alola Marowak in the back. This is absolutely great for the Vaporeon. We go for the Liquidation, getting the defense drop, and now we can just settle for an Aqua Tail. This Aqua Tail does big damage. The opponent realizing they're not going to win that game, so they concede the match. Into the next game, we see Vaporeon into Shadow Nidoqueen. I've actually not seen an awful lot of Nidoqueen since it did receive a buff this season. They go for a Poison Fang, we can let it go through. We go for the Aqua Tail here, and this will be grabbing a shield from the opponent. And if the opponent goes for the farm down, then we will barely make it to another Aqua Tail, grabbing both shields from this opponent, and they are also incredibly low. Now, if they're running Stone Edge, that's going to be problematic, but it's very unlikely since they throw blindly, and they do just go for a Poison Fang, which we can tank very nicely. They come in with a Politoed. We're going to swap. We were debuffed, so we're now going to clear the debuff, catch the Weather Ball onto Togetic, and Togetic is actually quite a bulky Fairy type. We're now going to go for an Ancient Power here. This will be super effective, and it does have the chance to get the boost, and we get the boost. We then appropriately over farm here, going for Ancient Power number 2, taking out the Ninetales. No boost this time around, but it does not matter. We've still got 2 shields, we double resist the Mud Shot damage, and we will easily make it to the Dazzling Gleam in time. And with the boost, Dazzling Gleam takes out the Politoed, and we take that game. So into the next battle, we see Galarian Stunfisk in the lead. Good lead, they swap into Togedemaru. This is a massive core breaker for the team, but the opponent's just going to go straight for a Fell Stinger. Absolutely fine with us. That does very little damage, and even though they're boosted their attack, Thunder Shocks really aren't going to do that much either. And now, are we going to call a bait here? No, the opponent full sends the Wild Charge, and this is really bad for us now because Water Guns were actually really adding up, but these Fairy Winds are not going to do much damage. We once again call a bait, and now we're going to call yet another bait here, and it is just a Fell Stinger. I don't know why the opponent is still baiting. Those Bug type charge moves are double resisted by a Flying and Fairy type Pokemon like Togetic. We go for the Ancient Power, we finally get rid of this really annoying Togedemaru, and the opponent's got a Charm, a Alola Ninetales, so I think we will be able to sweep with the Shadow Golbat here, up 2 shields. We go for Poison Fang, and at this point we're going to shield once, fully commit to the farm down, and we will be able to hit 2 Shadow Balls into the Galarian Stunfisk coming back in, although they do definitely have some energy here. We're going to go for the first Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does big damage, over 50%, and now will we be able to win the race to the second Shadow Ball? It's going to be close, but we get there in time, and Shadow Ball from this range will be enough damage to take out the Stunfisk, and we take that game. So Togedemaru, massive core breaker for the team, and even though we let the Wild Charge through on the Vaporeon, still able to fight back. But mostly due to the opponent just really enjoying those Fell Stinger baits. But into this battle, we go for, okay, it looks like the opponent was lagging, but actually I don't think they were. So good thing we carried on attacking. The opponent baits with an Ice Punch. We now catch onto our Golbat. and they go for an Ice Punch again, so luckily not a Psychic. And we are going to go straight for the Shadow Ball, knowing Poison Fang won't quite take them out, but the opponent uses a shield. Now, we can shield this up. We'll definitely outpace them with our Poison Fang to the next charge move, and in actual fact, we're able to get the full Wing Attack farm down, which is much better for us. They now come in with Bastiodon. That's absolutely awful here, but we do have some energy. We will make at least one Shadow Ball here before we go down. And now we can come back in with the Vaporeon. It is liquidation time, and this liquidation will be super effective. It does some decent damage. We get the defense drop as well, and that might be huge for us. I think we should now be able to fully Water Gun farm them down. And we're going to commit to the farm down. We get the farm down. We have another liquidation loaded. We can throw it straight into this Lickitung. And it does once again get another defense drop. So it seems very common. I don't know what the actual rate is. I assume it's the same as Crunch and a 30% chance at a debuff. But we've got a lot of liquidation debuffs so far. So we now go for Dazzling Gleam with the debuff. One more Fairy Wind takes out the bulky Lickitung. And we take that game. Into the next game, we see Pidgeot in the lead. Now, this is a bit tricky. I think we might just go for Aqua Tail here, making sure we can throw it before the Pidgeot can potentially debuff our attack. So, I do like this play. I do agree with it. And the opponent does go for that Feather Dance debuff. We now swap into Golbat. We're going to be able to make it to a Poison Fang before they reach another Feather Dance or Brave Bird. The opponent chooses to just let it go down. That's absolutely fine with us. We can now barely outpace them to the Shadow Ball here. And Shadow Ball does grab a shield from the opponent. They are going to massively overfarm. Good play by the opponent, but if they go for Surf, we might live it, but they're running Ice Beam. So interesting moveset from the opponent, assuming it's going to be Ice Beam and Shadow Ball. We're going to come in with the Togetic. Are we going to make a catch here? No, we're not, and we unfortunately don't throw quite in time, so they get off the Ice Beam. We can now go for a Dazzling Gleam here, and this will be enough damage to grab the final shield. I was going to say take them out, but I didn't expect them to actually use a shield there, and now they've got a Scrafty in the back, and this should be game over now. I think we should just be able to go for Liquidation and just let Vaporeon go down. We've got an absolute hard wall to Scrafty, so yeah, this is absolutely fine with us. We can come in, go for a full Fairy Wind, farm down, not commit a single shield, come out with a Dazzling Gleam loaded, and it doesn't matter if they've got a move loaded because we can go for the Dazzling Gleam straight away. Dazzling Gleam takes out the Jellicent, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see Vaporeon into another Galarian Stunfisk, so good lead for us. The opponent swaps into Lapras, Water Gun Lapras, so we're just going to wait for them to throw a charge move and then probably swap out into our Golbat. No, we're actually going to swap into Togetic. That does make sense since it does have Ancient Power and it has a worse matchup up against Galarian Stunfisk. They go for another Surf, not an Ice Beam, so we can safely let that go through. Gonna farm up to nearly 100 energy here, go for the Ancient Power, grabbing a shield from the opponent. We can make it to another Ancient Power in time before they get to the next Surf, and if they go for the farm, well, okay, they go and double shield their Lapras here, but we get the boost with the Ancient Power, so now I think we will commit to the Dazzling Gleam, and we do. This will do a lot more damage than the Ancient Power, and Dazzling Gleam takes out the Lapras. They come back in with Galarian Stunfisk, and we're going to commit to the Dazzling Gleam just because we can. The opponent overfarms, and that might have been a CMP tie there, and Dazzling Gleam does a lot of damage. It wasn't, and now we swap and we snipe with the Vaporeon, but we go for Aqua Tail for some reason instead of Liquidation. That doesn't take them out, although they just go for a Rock Slide here. We're happy to let Vaporeon go down. Definitely a little bit of a misplay there. I really like the snipe, but I think we should have gone for that Liquidation. Maybe just forgot if we had enough energy for it, so we panicked and went for the Aqua Tail. But now we can go for a Poison Fang, triple resisted, but from this range, it will be enough to take out the Stunfisk, and they've got an Air Slash Pidgeot in the back, so some interesting fast moves from this opponent's back line, but I think we should be fine here. We can safely shield this up if they do go for the debuff, which they do. We're still going to be fine, and we're going to go for the Poison Fang here, throwing at the correct timing, and Poison Fang will be enough to take out the Pidgeot, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see Vaporeon into Swampert, so another pretty good lead for the Vaporeon, as of course, these Hydro Cannons, which the opponent's going to go for straight away, is resisted, so definitely not the play by this opponent. We're now going to go for that Liquidation, and we've got quite a lot of debuffs so far, but unfortunately no debuff this time around. The opponent swaps, tries to catch a move onto their Azumarill here, so good play by the opponent, but we are going to shield the Ice Beam, and we're going to go for a Poison Fang straight away, get that defense drop as soon as possible, and now we should be able to overfarm in this matchup just a little bit, and then go for the Poison Fang number 2, and Poison Fang does take out the Azumarill, and they've got a Nidoqueen in the back, so this is a really good matchup. The opponent is farming up a lot of energy though, so they might be farming to the Stone Edge. We are going to go for the Shadow Ball. The opponent does correctly shield it up, and they're running Earth Power, but that does more than a Poison Fang, and it is enough to take us out. But we can come in with our Vaporeon here, go for the Aqua Tail. That does a lot of damage, and we should be able to get the farm down. And we're just going to force this opponent to throw their energy straight away. Hydro Cannon does barely take us out, but at this point we should be fine here. We've got a Flying type into Swampert. Hydro Cannon doesn't even do 50% of our health. We just need to farm to the back-to-back Ancient Powers, and even though they're resisted, I think that should be enough damage to take them out. But we're going to go for the Dazzling Gleam here, and we're going to undercharge it. I didn't realize that the opponent had no shields there, so obviously we just go for the Dazzling Gleam. Definitely not quite paying as much attention as I should have in that battle. But into the next battle, we're going to see a Noctowl in the lead. Gonna let the Sky Attack go through, and we will be farming up a bit of energy, going for the Liquidation here, and this will do some nice damage to the Noctowl, or grab a shield, and we do grab a shield. Now we're going to shield back, and we should be able to win the one shield scenario, but no, we're actually going to swap into our Shadow Golbat, go for a Poison Fang straight away. They are defense debuffed, and now they're double debuffed. They swap into Galarian Stunfisk after banking a ton of energy on the Noctowl. They probably do have a Sky Attack loaded. We barely live a Rock Slide there, which is massive, as it allows us to get to a Shadow Ball, but now they will be able to fully Mudshot farm us down, which is really, really awful. But I think we do have a move loaded on our Vaporeon, and we do. We have the Aqua Tail, and then this time it should be enough damage to take out the Stunfisk, and we're going to force this Noctowl to throw their energy as well. Sky Attack does take us out. We can come in with the Togetic here, and they do have another charge move already. Gonna let it go through. We have no idea what's in the back, but we need to save our shield just in case it is something that we do need to shield more than a Sky Attack. We go for the Ancient Power, taking out the Noctowl, and they've got a Scrafty, and this is gonna be game over. Once again, going for the Dazzling Gleam, we go for just a nice, and it's still one-shots the Scrafty, as it is double super effective damage, and we take that game. Into next game, a very interesting pick here, and they're running Poison Jab Roselia, massive core breaker for the team. Did not expect to see this in the Open Great League, but we grab a shield with the Ancient Power. Of course, it would seem like we'd run some sort of flying type charge move, so that shield usage does make sense, but they can safely let the second Ancient Power go through, and they got a massive farm down. Luckily, we should be able to wall all of the energy with our Shadow Golbat here, although I'm not super familiar with its charge moves. They're running Petal Blizzard, which is double resisted. Luckily, that wasn't just regular Blizzard, as that would have nuked us, but I don't think they do learn Blizzard. And now we can go for another Poison Fang just before they make it to the Ice Beam, and this probably grabs a shield. No, it doesn't, but they live it, but they don't get off a charge move, and now they've got Galarian Stunfisk in the back. This is going to be a very easy matchup for the Vaporeon. We could actually just let this move go through. The opponent baits with a Rock Slide, and now we are going to continue to overfarm. Gonna shield up the second Rock Slide here. We might as well. We've got two shields. The opponent tries to catch a charge move. Good play by the opponent, but we don't throw straight away. And that was why we did overfarm so massively there, making sure we didn't throw it into the Roselia coming back in. And now we can take out the Stunfisk and take that game. So into the next battle, Shadow Gallade in the lead, and I think we're probably going to try and catch a charge move. No, we're not. We're just going to go straight for an Aqua Tail, expecting the opponent to throw on CMP, which unfortunately they do not do. And now here, they are going to be able to get to back-to-back Leaf Blades, so we might as well let the first one go through. Going to come in with our Togetic here, and they've got a Registeel in the back, and this is really not looking good for us. Registeel, another core breaker to the team, although Vaporeon doesn't do too badly since water guns do add up over time. We're going to let the Zap Cannon go through. It does take us out, and now it's all up to this Shadow Golbat. Can we take on this Registeel? We are up a shield. They're going to go for the Zap Cannon here, and Zap Cannon unfortunately does get the debuff. We're now going to go for a Shadow Ball, and this will do some decent damage, but we're actually going to grab a shield there, and the opponent swaps out into a Blaziken. We can now go for another Shadow Ball, and this will be enough to take them out, even with the debuff. And now the opponent's going to come back in with Gallade. We have to let this go through. Everything is resisted. It's a close combat. We barely hang on, and now can we make it to the Shadow Ball here? We've got it. Shadow Ball, is it enough damage to take them out? No, it's not, and unfortunately they're able to lock on, farm us down, and we do lose that game. But into the next battle, we see Lucario in the lead. This is honestly another matchup where I'd probably swap out just because we have two flying types that are really good up against fighting types, but we're going to let this move go through. Just a power up punch, and now we're going to go for an Aquatail. That does a lot of damage. Now we swap into Golbat, get the snipe, and we do bait out a Galvantula. Now Galvantula, yet another core breaker to the team, but we do have an energy advantage, and they let the Poison Fang go through, so this is actually not so bad. The opponent also baits with a lunge there. Great call from Nerds Rising. We can now go for the Poison Fang, and this, oh, they actually caught that onto Obscune. That was such a good catch. I didn't even see the swap, but we're now going to be able to make it to yet another Poison Fang, and that's a CMP tie as well, so absolutely perfect here. Now we will be able to fully farm them down with the Vaporeon. Personally, I would have come in with the Togetic here, but I don't think it matters too much. They go for cross chop, they get the farm down. We can come in with the Togetic, and actually, it's going to be quite a difficult farm down with the Togetic, so I definitely think we might have misplayed this end game a bit, but I think we should still be fine. We're going to call the lunge there, and we still get the farm down. 2 shield flex, that was actually insane. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, then make sure you go over to Nerds Rising's channel. He does run plenty of spice picks throughout the majority of the season, so definitely go subscribe there, but also make sure you leave a like on the video, leave a comment letting me know that you did enjoy it, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.